In this video, I'm going to reveal the 5 steps that I took to grow my Instagram to over 100,000 followers and make multi six figures from the brand. And I'm going to show you how you could do it the same, but also do it way faster and monetize a lot faster. Now, one pitfall I guess I had was I was just focusing on growing the account. I didn't even know the business application behind what I could do with this brand. And then obviously I started to read and started to learn and started to find out the process that I could take to actually monetize this brand and more or less monetize the attention and the eyeballs that I was having, that I was harnessing on this brand. So let's dive in. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Owen. I help online coaches add $20,000 a monthly profit to their online business with force and not flow. And we do it in a way where it's a lot of fun. And I'm known as your favorite online business coach for consultants with no BS, all practical knowledge, no gatekeeping, information on how you can actually scale your business and use it just Instagram, period. Just use Instagram. It is more than enough for you to grow your business to 30K, 40K, and beyond. So if you're a high ticket coach looking for a predictable lead gen system and you want to grow your Instagram in particular and build your authority and also use it as a predictable, consistent client acquisition system, then you're in the right place. Keep watching this video because I'm really excited to share this. I've never shared this in a video format. I've shared it on LinkedIn, as you can see here. And it was a lot of fun when I did that because it got a lot of good reception. So as I say here, 124,000 followers isn't luck, it's strategy. How I've mapped out the journey from niche to notable, and here's the blueprint of my Instagram success. As you can see on the left side here though, let's see if, yep, I guess we can kind of highlight over. That looks a little weird, but nonetheless, this is my Instagram, Unleash the Knowledge. I've recently branded it to my personal brand, put my name on it, put my face on it some more. As you can see, helping online coaches scale with magnetic content. If you're checking out the bio now, it might be different as we're just always testing different verbiages and copy, but we have 1.5 million views in the last 30 days, predominantly organically, and we're sharing really helpful content. So here's the credibility. This is the work we've done. So now let's dive in on how I grew my Instagram to 100,000 followers. Plus, as you can see, I'm at 127 and I've made multi six figures since then. So the beginning started actually back in September 14, 2019. Let's do a little story time real quick. I was in college basketball. What was I doing, right? I was in college basketball working for Dan Hurley at UConn, University of Connecticut, which if you're a basketball fan in the US, you know that that's a top program. And as you can see this picture over here, back in 2019, I was working for the team. I was burning out, losing purpose, never seeing my family or friends. I mean, listen, I was in a really great place. I'm so grateful for the experience, but I wasn't making a lot of money. I felt very trapped from a creative standpoint, and I knew that I needed to do something new. So I literally gained this inspiration from Coach Hurley, from the books that he was reading, the podcasts he was listening to. He was very infatuated with Tim Ferriss and Ryan Holiday and Lewis Howes and all these people that were in the self-development world that I had never heard about before. Now, I'm, 22 years old, just got out of college, starting this graduate program, and I really had this desire to be great. And Hurley was a massive mentor of mine, and I was just a sponge. Needless to say, he would ask me to print out a blog post. I would print out 2 copies, one for myself, one for him. So the inspiration literally came from my experience in basketball and having this drive to learn more and be successful. And now that I've learned like NLP tactics and so forth, which I'll talk about in a minute, you want to model success. Success leaves clues. Hurley used to have that around our locker room, that success leaves clues. So I just kept reading. And that's what really led me to literally opening up an Instagram page. As you can see over here, let's pop back up here. Like I literally just called it Unleash the Knowledge. You can see right here, the name. It just came to me. I really have no rhyme or reason on where that name came around, but it was broad enough and it made a lot of sense to what I wanted to share. And then I just started sharing the books that I was reading. So that's the inspiration. So the 5 steps I took. Number 1 is figuring out your why, your purpose, and your mindset. And I know this might seem cliche, but let me please explain why this is so important as your first step. You're going to do this every single day. Like you're going to want to love it. You're going to want to have a passion behind it. If this is solely just to make money, then you're going to burn out. I mean, you could probably make it happen. You could probably, claw and whatever, make your way through the challenges or the roadblocks or the burning out phase, but it's not going to be as enjoyable as you would like it to be. So you want to make a Instagram page or a brand around something that you love. I help coaches, so ultimately whatever their skill is that they're coaching on is a passion of theirs. It's usually something that they helped themselves get through. It helped them move away from pain or towards pleasure, and then they're able to now preach on that through Instagram, through their content, and then use it as a client acquisition system for their coaching. So you want to get wildly clear on your why and your purpose and your mindset. For me, I always lean on this idea for mindset is to think in decades, not days. So long-term mindset, that's a key. I mean, that was a big key that I was gaining from all the books I was reading from Curly on what he was reading, and I was that was beginning my self-development journey. You know, the purpose for me and my why was I found my purpose in my pain. And what I mean by that is I was diagnosed ADD, ADHD growing up. I could never do a reading comprehension assignment. That was like the number one task that I always bypassed. If it was like, an assignment to create a video or write a paper or read a book and like do a report on it, I always never chose the book. I actually always led towards the video because I was very creative in that sense, and I still am. And that obviously has bled into the work that I'm doing today. But I just never was able to read a passage, and maybe you could relate to this listening here, and then actually remember what the heck I read and then go answer questions about it. Now, funny enough, what do I do, or what have I been doing for the past 4 years? I've been literally reading books and getting paid to do so, and then working with authors and coaches and consultants to build out their back end businesses and build their personal brands online. So I literally turned my purpose into my pain. Now, I have a video on this. I can tag it below in the description, or you could go find it. But it's all about how I found my purpose. It's me in the sauna. So you can go check out that video, and that kind of goes into more depth on how I went through this process if you're struggling with what your purpose is and what your why is. But nonetheless, you want to get very clear on these components because times are going to get tough. It could be a slog at times creating content. You might just feel like, why am I doing this? And if you have your why and purpose and mindset in the right place, you will be able to persevere. So that's step one. Step two is who. Who's your ideal follower? Now, when you try to speak to everyone, you speak to no one, right? Speak to everyone, you end up speaking to no one. And apologies for my horrendous writing. I just wanted to go a little bit quicker with this writing so that you can, get the value here. But what I mean by this is you really want to become a one-on-one, a category one. You want to niche down from the start. For me, it was nonfiction, business, and self-help books. Pretty niche. And then from there, I've grown beyond that. But when you first start, you want to find your tribe and you want to speak directly to your ideal follower. Really kind of keep the parameters in place. You want to show some lifestyle content. You want to show some, day in a life type of deal. But you want to be speaking to this ideal follower because that's the person that's ultimately going to be following you and consuming your content. So get very clear on this. Find out their age. Find out their socioeconomical class. Find out, their pains, problems, needs, desires, goals, their obstacles. I've helped my clients do this, like this Plan Zero plan, which is an acronym, but essentially like find out their anecdotes and the language and the words and the stories that they're telling themselves. You want to know your ideal follower super well. And more times than not, and most of my clients can relate to this, your ideal follower is really going to be yourself from a couple of years ago. And ultimately, if you're watching this, you're running a coaching business or consulting business, you're essentially just helping the person a couple steps behind you because you just persevered and made it through and learned the process on how to do whatever it is that you do. So think about that younger self, whoever that is. If you're, 30, think about that 25-year-old self. If you're 50, think about that, 45-year-old self of whoever you are. Of course, case to case basis on whatever you're coaching on, and happy to advise you. If you were to be interested in what we have to offer, you could always DM me on Instagram. You could always DM the word magnet and we'll have a conversation with you. It will be me. By the way, it's not going to be in a setter, appointment setter, or closer, or some other crap because I run a very lean, efficient business and I want to talk directly to all leads, all prospects, and all clients. So it will be me that you'll be talking to, but you could always DM me magnet for more info on the program. But nonetheless, you want to get clear on your ideal follower. Who are you speaking to? And then from there, you'll be able to understand the content that they really enjoy. Step three is content. So that brings us into this beautifully. So a couple pillars you want to just think on when it comes to content. You want to make it shareable. I mean, this is really how the world goes round. This is how things go viral. People share their content. Instagram is constantly coming out with updates where the sharing function is way more valuable than the like or versus the comment, etc. And the share and the save are 100% always the most optimized metric that allows the content to travel through the algorithm. So because it shows that it's one, something they want to come back to, the share button, or sorry, the save button. And two, it's something that they want to share with their friends and their colleagues and those in their tribe. And that is in its, essence going to create virality for your post. So you want to make content shareable. Now, we can go into a whole another video, and I'm sure I'll shoot one. And if you want a specific video on this, let me know in the comments. But there's different ways to make shareable content, obviously. But for this, I'm just keeping the 5 steps here on how you can grow to 100,000 followers and make 6 figures from it. You want to build your tribe. You want to find 5 to 10 people that are in your niche or adjacent niches that you can grow with. This is so undervalued. I cannot say this enough. And even the clients that you're going to have, you want to add them to your tribe because we'll get into a minute on growth, on how you can grow your account and where this comes into play. But nonetheless, again, back to when times get tough. Not everything's all glitz and glammy. I'm just telling you how it is. I told you from the intro. I'm the no BS, no gatekeeping, no fluff type of coach. I'm telling you how it is. You want to find your tribe because they're going to be able to lift you up when you feel bad. And they're also going to be able to, be a source of brainstorming for you and collaboration so you can learn more about what's working and what's not. So look at their content too. You'll get a lot of inspiration from that. And that's what brings us into model success, back to the NLP tactic. Find your dreams list. This is something else I teach my clients. Find people, like 5 to 10 people that are either the living legend list, which is like the larger than life figures, those that are many chapters beyond you. Learn from them because they're probably putting a lot of money and time and energy into the content that they produce, and they probably have a whole team that's creating their content. And that's going to allow you to know what's working, right? Like if they're doing it, then you might as well be doing some sort of it, or making your own twist about it. But then you also want to create your relatable list, which is essentially 5 to 10 people that are kind of like right there in the game with you. They're your peers or colleagues that you can grow with. And then your tribe, that relatable list could be the next living legend list down the road. So modeling success is so crucial. You don't want to try to reinvent the wheel. You don't want to try to assume that something's going to work. It's all proven. Trust me. Like you can go out there and find people that are doing what you want to do, and you can more or less copy what they're doing, but emulate is a better word, and see what the patterns of what's working and the success tactics, and then make it your own. And then the last piece of content that every single person needs to have is what I call a viral change post, a VCP. And what this is essentially a side-by-side image, like this is mine, that shows where you were and where you're at today. Essentially like the hell that you were in and now the heaven state that you're in. And why this works so good for coaching, and you probably have seen this with the fitness space, with the transformation photos. Those are like the greatest type of VCP that's ever been created. Someone's chubby and fat and now they're ripped with a six-pack. You're just like, I mean, it's such a scroll-stopping piece of content. But not everyone's a fitness coach, obviously. So this is, me, like I look a little upset. I'm just locked in. And then obviously it wasn't the most glorious time of my life, despite being in a really good place, which I think makes this even more powerful. And then you see me here, who's super happy, all the good wins that I've had, and then an updated year. So there's different components. And again, I'm not going to go into depth here, but this is something that we teach extensively because this is one of the first pieces of content that every single coach or consultant should have. And you should continue to leverage this because this just shows you the journey. This shows the prospects and your future clients, the journey that you've taken. And of course, there's a whole caption, below here that explains the hell to heaven. But nonetheless, you want to create a VCP type of post. All right, step 4 is growth hacks. So obviously, we want to grow this account. You can grow the account through content, but here are also some growth tactics and hacks that you can take on that's helped me grow my account to over 100,000 followers. And I know it will for you too. Instagram Lives. This is like hacking other people's audiences. I don't know why people don't do this enough. And to be honest, they only have to be like 15 minutes. It's not much of a time slog. So you don't have to think that it's going to be, an hour-long type of podcast where you have to do a bunch of research. It really could just be you and someone else shooting the shit and be able to get a lot of intel from them and actually probably learn how to better your brand if they're in your adjacent niche or in your niche. So what I did specifically is I would interview for 15 minutes during COVID. I called it 15 minutes with Owen, with other authors. And, I was at like 30 or 50,000 followers by then. So obviously I had a little bit of credibility myself to get some bigger names, but, start where you're at and you can continue to grow from there. But I had people who had like 500,000 followers, 1 million followers, 2 million followers. And as you can see, that's a really good attention and traction that I can gain from just having a conversation with these people. And also it plays to, the law of association. Yeah, we're just going to screw up that writing because I probably didn't write it correctly. But the law of association, just by simply being around other people of larger authority, you're then looped into the same conversation or seen in the same light as that person because they have authority. So Instagram Lives, so underrated, so valuable. Definitely leverage those. Collaborations, now Instagram, at the time of recording this, 2025, it's March 1, 2025. You could, and you've been able to do this for a bit, but at the current moment you still can, you could create collab posts. And essentially what this is you post on your account and you collaborate with another person, and the same piece of content will post on their account as well. I've done this really well with some authors and coaches and consultants who have way bigger followings than I do, and also better engagement than I do, which is another key that you should look out for when collaborating with people with large audiences. Look at their engagement as well. Instagram goes up and down. I've gone through a crazy roller coaster ride from an engagement standpoint. I wouldn't use it as a full judge, but definitely collaboration posts are so good. And essentially, you're just, again, borrowing the authority and the credibility and the audience of another account. Free promotion. So, again, back on my story, I was sharing books that I was loving to read and books that I wanted to one support. It was free promotion on my account with a bunch of followers, getting the author a lot of exposure. But I also was building, it was a bit of a play to get close to the author and become friends with them. And this has worked so well for me. I mean, now some of my favorite books and the authors who wrote the books are now good friends of mine that I can now call on the phone. Like, it's amazing what Instagram can do for you if you play it correctly and if you're authentic and real. So, depending on your niche, let's just use the fitness example again. Like, say I don't know, got a home workout kit or a new type of bands or I don't know, dumbbell, whatever, and you go tag that company and you just keep sharing the content over and over again. You keep tagging the content or the company, you keep talking highly about them, and then you shoot a DM and you try to have a little bit of conversation there. They're going to just be so warmed up to you because it's the classic law of reciprocity, too, which is an influence law that you totally should learn more about too if you don't know about that. But there's a book called Influence by Robert Cialdini. It's a great book, and essentially, it's just the law of if I do something for you, you're more likely to do something for me. So if I give you something for free, you're willing to do something for me. It's kind of like the whole, if you're in the online coaching business, you understand lead magnets, and that's essentially the same deal. So free promo, so good, so good. Definitely want to implement that, but be creative there. Commenting is so crucial too. This takes no money. It just takes time and energy and some hustle. And essentially, all you're doing is you're putting your face in front of more people. And the best way I can explain this, I love talking about this, is my billboard analogy. And what I mean by this is, okay, frame this up. So, your profile is a billboard, and your job is to create bumper to bumper, frustrating traffic in front of that billboard. And by you commenting or liking on any other people's posts, you're taking a little matchbox car or a real car and placing it right in front of that billboard. And as you can imagine, 50 comments a day, 100 comments a day, you're placing a frustrating amount of bumper to bumper traffic in front of that billboard, which is your profile, and you're getting more exposure on yourself for free. So, so good. And again, underutilized. So consider that billboard analogy. I like it. I think it works well. And then lastly, if you really want to win and you really want to make money and you really want to grow a brand, don't miss a day. I mean, if you really care and you want to make something big about your life and you want to change your life and you want to have leverage, which is something so many people do not have, you don't want to miss a day. I never missed a day for like the first 3 years. Now, since then, I really haven't missed a day, but there's definitely been moments where I didn't post on certain days for no reason, right or wrong, but it was just like I had already been established. And I think that comes a little bit once you are consistent over time. But for the first like 3 years, literally, I never missed a day. You can content block too. You can schedule if you really want to. So there's really no excuse for you to miss a day. All right, so those are some growth tactics, growth hacks. And lastly, let's get into step 5, and that's how you scale. And here are just really good mindset pieces to have. So you don't want to quit. It might get tough. Lean on your tribe, as I mentioned. Don't quit. Get better and adapt. Again, the proof is out there. There's even people, even like myself, who are sharing good hooks, good templates, good ways to go viral, or good ways to get traction on your content. Learn from them. Follow those people. Turn on their push notifications. So every time they post, you're the first one to see their stuff. So you can then go to the drawing board and apply it to your niche. Get better and adapt. And lastly, reflect on the top posts, trends, and always speak directly to your audience. Reflecting on your top posts is, again, an underrated tactic, and you could also repurpose content. This is something, people don't really talk about. And I was like the happiest cat ever when I realized this, that you can put 6 months of content out there, new pieces of content every single day, 6 months. What is that? That's, 30 times 6, that's 180. No, I'm really going to be brutal on math. What is that? 360 days, something like that. You can fact check me. And that's so many pieces of content that you can then trickle back into your feed because you're going to grow your following. You're going to get more people seeing your stuff that had not seen your stuff previously. So obviously, you want to repurpose that content, especially if it performed super well. It showed you, the algorithm is telling you this is what we want. And then from there, you can obviously create, you know, we could say like, lookalike content, follow the same scheme that your content played with. So that's the 5 steps. Subscribe, like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment below. Watch this video next. This outlines my unique process of using Instagram to add 20K a month of profit to your coaching business. It's going to help you work 4 hours in a day, and it's also going to help you grow your audience and consistently build lead gen. So you'll probably see the video on this video as well, but go find this video on my profile and you'll be glad you did because it's going to help you a lot. But till then, we'll talk to you soon.